You got to talk about it. What in the hell has happened to Ronda Rousey? I was someone who was a huge Rousey fan, of course, going all the way back to UFC, but just talking WWE. Best debuting match, I'm going to say, in the history of wrestling, when she tagged with Kurt against Triple H and Stephanie at WrestleMania in New Orleans.
I think Bad Bunny was good too.
Bad Bunny was great, and so was Paul. Yeah, I mean, Logan Paul was great too, but Rousey, nobody expected that. She did incredible. No. To look at where she was in her first year and a half run, and yes, she was fighting the likes of Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair. I get that. But she has regressed so bad on this run. It's not even funny. I tried to shoot her bell, and her and Liv at Extreme Rules. And I'm like, I may have to put this one on Liv because I haven't seen many Rousey matches this bad. Segments on SmackDown, really bad. Sunday against Shotzi, really bad. It feels like nothing is clicking on this run with Ronda Rousey. I'll throw it to you guys. What happened? Is it salvageable? And if it is it as easy as saying, hey, put her with a Paul Heyman type? Of course, Heyman is working with the bloodline. That's not going to happen right now. But is it that simple? Or is it, hey, we need to get the belt off of her and completely somehow rebuild her in a completely different way? Because this is not working, and it's really hurting the women's division on SmackDown.
This run of Ronda Rousey is very, very disappointing. And mainly because I remember how good she was. You know, she's a heel now, and she's a bad girl. And people still don't like her for being a bad girl. So to me, I think about it, and I feel like it comes down to either 4 different things. Either 1, she lost confidence in herself. 2, her energy is somewhere else, focus. I don't want to say, it's on her family. That's probably not fair to say if she's a professional. 3, maybe she doesn't believe in her character. Or 4, probably the most reliable one, is that her honeymoon stage is over and people and fans just don't care about her anymore. Regardless, there's a 180 that needs to be happening. And I can't really answer that question you just asked. But I don't know, this ain't it. And I said last time that I thought it was Liv. Maybe I didn't care for Liv's, championship run, but maybe it was Ronda. Maybe it was always Ronda to begin with. So I don't know how to answer your question, but I do think that we need to figure out what it's causing this disconnect, because we've seen her where she was much better and people cared about her.
That's rough. I know that, since Matt's, putting our text messages on blast, I don't know what's sacred and what's not, right? I don't know what's protected, right?
That was the only one I was going to do. Jeez.
For this week. But I said, I'm like, man, I like War Games. I like all the matches except for this, except for that match. It just really wasn't good. And I think the one spot that really stood out to me was when I think that Shotzi was trying to do the DDT to DDT Ronda onto the apron. Yeah, and they kind of all just tumbled over, and Ronda just hit the mat, and Shotzi flopped out of the ring. That was just really bad. But here's the thing. I mentioned it last week. It's that the entire SmackDown women's division is Ronda Rousey. Right? I don't think there's anybody on that roster that's clicking right now. Shotzi. Liv wasn't. Ronda surely isn't. And I guess Ronda is the leader of that division right now. So I guess that she's the head woman in charge. And so the rest of that roster is kind of following suit. So I don't want to put it all on Ronda, but certainly the last couple of Ronda matches I've seen haven't been good. But I can't think of anything on that women's division that has been mildly entertaining or good in the ring. I think it's time for a shakeup. I think that maybe Ronda will benefit from wrestling more seasoned talent, right? Because she's wrestling a Shotzi, and Shotzi's good, but I don't know if she's a wrestler that can carry somebody to a great match, right? I don't know if Liv Morgan was either. Ronda still is relatively new in the business. She hasn't been doing it very long, right? She took a sabbatical to be a mom.
Yep.
So to say that everything is her fault, I mean, she's learned a lot. She's done a lot in the 4 years that she's been doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's still really young in the business, guys. And I'm not being devil advocate. I'm just being realistic and saying it. I don't think that they have enough women on that roster that mean something, and enough roster that can kind of help these inexperienced women be great in the ring. So I think a lot of it might be on Ronda's shoulders, but I think it's a bigger problem with that women's division.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because if you think about, like I said, who she was working with that first year, Hall of Fame talent, superstars. So maybe she's being exposed for being a rookie right now. I don't know. But
I told you that before, Matt. I told you that before. I said Ronda, and I don't want to blast her, because again, she has so much potential, and I do support her. So for sure, I want to make sure that's a clear statement, and I hit it with a period, and I start my next sentence. But I've said this before, that I know me and you had gotten passionate about her matches before. I think it had to do, they were so good before because who she went against. She is new and she is green. I think you actually was like, she's not green, meaning new to the business. I've always felt that about Ronda. I did.
Rhodesia says, man, I want her to do well, but she's trash. That was basically what that
was
right there. Eshaun, did you hear that? That is crazy. I'll tell you what's funny.
Turn on me too.
I'll tell you what's funny. This week on Twitter, Fire Ronda Rousey was trending. I think we found the culprit of the person who started
First off,
that trend.
never.
It should be Fix Ronda Rousey. Rhodesia says Fire Ronda Rousey. That was what I heard.
Never do that.
Moving on.